When you execute this command mvn archetype generate the group id com.example the artifact id my maven, it will create a quick start template of my maven project. Be sure that you will write this command correctly, and this artifact generate archetype generate will create automatic project for this project template for you. And here we are using a quick start template. It's a template, it's having, there are might be a different templates also, web app template and simple template. In quick start template, this is the template. You will see that it's having a source and its respective test data unit test with a simple app.java program with respect to its an app test.java. So source contains main java. com.example is the group id. As you saw, the maven uses the group id for packaging, java uses that. So in there is a more set of templates present there, and quickstart is one of them, and there might be a web app, and you can create your own template with using moj command there, and web app template is there, and my maven app file is your project name. It called as an artifact id. Artifact id belongs to a main group called com.example, is the actual creator of a my maven project. And com.example is actually a root directory. As you see, example like google.com. com.example is a very, it will have a java uniqueness, so that uses a packaging purpose. So we use reverse configuration for packaging, that will add an uniqueness. So you saw com.google, like that we are using an com.example for our group id. Group id is actually creator of a maven project here, that might be related here. And my maven project might be a one of the project handled by the group id, that main group. Example as of in google.com and azure.com, like this. So the RTD archetype id is a template that required for your project. So we are in a quick start template we are using. It's a very simple template. It's having an app.java with respect to its app test.java. That's it. And we are not giving an interactive mode, so it will be a non-interactive mode. It will direct need not required any human interaction for the creation of project. So we set it as a false. You might be kept as a true. It will ask a user for specific permissions that as of not required for us. So next we're gonna see the pom.xml file. It's a main constant for creating a maven project. It's a project object model dot xml mean extended markup language. It's having a project tag which comprises xml ns is a actually a namespace. Here we are see, you can see maven.apache.org. it's like a hierarchical namespace. So like you have a domain name system, like that it's having a namespace. So it's we are using a pom and with a version of 4.0. that specific url will depict that we are using this resource of version 4 of pom resources with a version of 4.0.0. It will give us all the services that provide required for our project. So, and next we are having a XML schema location, which depicts the schema instance that we want for our project. And we are having a schema location also, where from where we are we are referring the schema location in this. So these are the required things need to be present in a project tab. We have a schema instance and its respective schema location, and be sure that that's our schema location p4-0. It's an all the things that to be present in project.xml. And next we are having our version, it's 4.0, and group id com.example, and artifact id or project id my Maven app, and packaging we are packaging into an Java archiver jar, and version snapshot 1.0 snapshot. So jar packaging means it's having all the compiled classes in it. When you run a Java program, you will see a dot class as a compiled class of your program. It's having an image of compilation of your program. Similarly, the Java have all the image of compiled class of Java programs. So we are packaging into like and wrapping the compiled class into an one file. So dot class, as you saw, instead of having a separate dot class for each program, the jar file will have all the compiled classes images in it. That's a main important. There might be a war file also which is required for web apps. Here we are using Java archive var. So jar is having all the compiled classes image. It's like a wrapper. So version is 1.0 snapshot. Snapshot means we are still developing. It's not fully deployed version 1. So we are still developing, inspecting that whether it runs correct or not. So 1.0 means it's a complete one. Otherwise it will be, we are still in developing. Now we have a section, but that a main section that's called an dependency. The two main sections are there in a pom.xml. One is dependency, and in that we have a several dependency that need to be downloaded from external services that we are required for running our project. So JUnit is actually a default one. So app.test, so for that testing, so the default one will be the default one will created when you creating a Maven project, that is a JUnit. So for running, for testing your program, we are using app. No any other process. So JUnit is only for a testing purpose, no any other process. So be aware that. Next, as of the it's not having any build stage, so when you compile this one, you might get error. So we're gonna write pom.xml what are the things required to run a normal hello world program. So we're gonna start a simple maven pom.xml, which is capable of running the app.java program. So by default you're gonna define an properties section here if that required. So here we can define the properties of our project. As of now we define for a normal one, normal source and target versions. What type of versions? Compiling versions required. That might be a property of our project. So we need to type this maven dot compiler dot source, and recent the one is 11. So maven dot compiler dot source, it's a closing tag. We need to give slash here closes and another maven dot compiler dot target 11 maven dot compiler dot target. So we're gonna need to close the property section, and this need to be closed. So as we see that these are all the things that the Maven pom.xml by default download the JUnit. So we need quite a building stage dependencies for what are the things externally we require for our project, but we need to signify the building stage, and in the plugins what are the tasks need to be done by our project, that plugins and plugin for our first. So we used so many commands. When you type the mvn compile b c mvn compile, for handling this we need a plugin for that. Mvn compile command, when you type, for handling that we need a plugin. So where we get all these plugins? We need to go Maven central repository, and we're gonna find that. So just I'm gonna show you which one you need to prefer. Maven central repository. So I prefer this icon. It's give more efficient results than any other. So type here artifact ID. You need to know artifact ID, so we need Maven compiler. So we're gonna search, got this. So don't use beta version, use the recent 340 the 3.14 version. So we are using it as a plugin, so don't copy the dependency. So paste it after the plugin tag. So you defined here a property of a source and target. By can define here also the configuration, and we're gonna configure the source 1.8 is the minimum required version, so close that, and target with need to be same versions, otherwise the bytecode, the compiled bytecode will be different. Java bytecode will be different when we use both as a different versions, source and target. So how's the configuration? Be sure that they have to be same version. So close the plugin also. Oh, we use this, so when you type this, this will be executed. So this is a task. When you compile, so this task will be done. So these are the things actually done behind this. Be careful about this, otherwise it might cause an error. Okay, next is the one plugin. So when we need after all, we're gonna type command mvn test. Okay, for handling this one we need a plugin. For doing this task, the pom.xml need a plugin. So plugin, so okay, enter. So we are having a Maven compiler for Maven test. So we have a dependency. So as of now we downloaded that dependency. So what of that? Its scope is test. How it is tested? Through which task? So for that we required a Surefire plugin. So where we get this one? So go there, search Maven Surefire. You get Maven Surefire plugin. Copy the first only 3 lines. Okay, paste this. Okay, now there is no required any configuration for this. Close. So this handles this Maven test command. This task is controlled by this. So you type a command mvn package. mvn package. What about this? How it will handle? So we for this we need packaging one. So by default it is having a jar. So we defined here. So you saw that packaging jar. So Maven package, but we not defined any plugin task related. So for that you required a plugin called Maven jar plugin. So go here and search Maven jar plugin. You got this. So don't use a beta version, use the non-beta versions. So recent one is 3.4 to copy that. As of we define this, so we need to do some configuration for this wordings. So what type of jar we need? From the where the execution need to be start, which program need to be executed first. So for that achieve it will specify which need to be done first. So we need a manifest entry. So it will be the entry given to this, and next we need execution name, main class com dot. From here the execution starts. It's like a main method in a program we are specifying here. So close that main class. So from here the execution starts. So that's it. Next we need to close all these manifest entries. And archive, and then the configuration. So jar plugin is required for compiling your packaging your compiled classes. So it's having an image of your compiled program. And so close that compiler plugin. So close that jar plugin. But and we told all the tasks that we want, it's completed. So close the plugin section and close the building section also, building tag. So it's have the, so when you run this command java jar target, so you actually have the compiled classes. So when you run a Java program, you see a dot class is created by default one. So the jar plugin is having all the compiled one. Java means jar means Java archive. So here you see the compiled classes were pasted in this jar file. So Java archive. So it's a very important section. That's what with a version you defined. Okay, so it's snapshot. That's it. So these are the tasks are done by this pom dot. It's a normal hello world pom.xml. So for every projects it will be similar, but only the dependency you need to be done, and the tasks, that new tasks that you want, that need to be added in a plugin section, in a building section. And the dependency, which are the new things, that external things that you want, you need to add in dependency section.